Hello, and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. Last time, we got through the first day of this flashback. Now, we enter the second day in the valley. And that morning, I awoke to the eerie song of distant birds. I burrowed into my sleeping bag and closed my eyes, fully expecting to lie awake all night. But evidently, I must have dozed off at some point. I imagine they were all, between all of them, pretty exhausted at that point. When I forced open my unexpectedly heavy eyelids, I found the interior of our cheap blue tent illuminated by a slanting ray of morning sun. Thankfully, the temperature had risen with the dawn. I must have slept for at least a few hours, but the burden of my fatigue was no lighter. If anything, I felt even more exhausted than I had the night before. Still wrapped in my sleeping bag, I turned sideways on top of my thin silver mat, twisting my head towards the other side of the tent. I was surprised to find my roommate missing. Kazuki? Where could she have wandered off to? The mat and sleeping bag Kazuki had been using sat on the ground next to me, neatly tied together in a tight roll. From the look of things, it was unlikely that she just stepped out to use the bathroom. Kazuki was clearly already awake and taking action. I crawled outside the tent into a clear sky but dim morning. The sheer cliffs to our right and left intercepted most of the sun's light, and what little reached us filtered down through the gaps in the thick vegetation far above. No doubt the same reason it felt oddly chilly for a summer day. So do we have a lot of the sky covered by a forest? Damn, that's not good. In terms of visibility for them looking. Others had already emerged from their tents into the gloomy dawn. Here and there, they sat quietly on the hard stone ground. Well, if we're primarily going to be focusing on survival until they find us, we should minimize energy usage. In addition to the trauma and mental exhaustion of the previous day, we'd slept in an unfamiliar environment, not the best way to get rested and refreshed. Most had barely slept at all, judging from the dark circles under their eyes. I called out to a freshman from the neighboring tent, Ibuki Haruna, seated some 3 meters away from me. Ibuki brushed her long bangs out of her eyes with her fingers and responded listlessly.
Kazuki? 風見さんならシャベルを担いで森の方に行ったからおトイレじゃないかな
I forgot about that aspect of it.
そう
I turned towards the valley's lone exit, the tangle of vegetation we called a forest, but Kazuki was nowhere in sight. I am still sort of confused about the layout of this area. They make it sound like there's not that many cliff faces involved and there's a bunch of forest. At the same time, at other times they make it sound like there's this small exit that's this like deep, significant forest in the same way. I did, however, happen to notice someone acting rather oddly a little ways off.
ねえあれ何やってるのかなそう
It was Sakuma Minori, a 30-year senior. She is a talented athlete particularly skilled at sinking three-pointers, who'd earned the title of scoring queen in our team. At the moment, she was repeatedly hurling a small object straight up into the air.
気になるなら自分で聞いてきたら私あの先輩苦手
Ah, well, you seem like you really like her. Ibuki didn't bother to lower her voice. She didn't seem to care whether her frank words reached the ears of our senior. As a result of last night's discussion, she'd been paired with that very Sakuma-senpai, and was stuck sharing a tent with her for the duration of our stay here. Oh, it's always good to team up people with people they don't like. The combination seemed logical enough since Ibuki and Sakuma had been sharing a room as boarder students. But room assignments in the dorm were arbitrary, arranged for the convenience of the school. As in most boarding schools, the freshmen tended to moan about running chores with their arrogant older roommates while seniors complained about being expected to clean up after some clueless brat. If you're stuck in the same room, living in the same room for an extended period of time, the reasonable thing would be to deal with your differences and find a way to get along. But it seems things aren't that simple, particularly for girls. And the roommates who disliked each other the most tended to be exactly the ones who were kept together when rooms were reassigned the next year. It wasn't just coincidence either. From what I heard, our school deliberately tried to create awkward combinations as a sneaky way of maintaining discipline. Letting friends clump together naturally leads to cliques and group attempts to skirt the rules. In turn, this can create sharp divisions between those who want peace and quiet in the dorm and those who want to enjoy themselves. Sometimes these would end in nasty squabbles. In other words, the mixing of oil and water personalities in individual rooms prevented larger scale problems. Or, well, so I've heard. As someone who commuted to school, it was a bit hard for me to understand dorm politics.
佐久間先輩、さっきから何をなさってるんですか？おお、あまねか。これだこれ。
I will say, I'm very impressed by how many, new character portraits they made just for this flashback. Sakuma had a small object she'd been hurling repeatedly into the sky. Specifically, it was her cell phone. What? She'd been repeating a simple pattern of action, throwing it straight up with all her might, retrieving it on the way back down, then throwing it right back up again. On closer examination, the body of the phone was battered and covered in fine cracks, meaning she thought it every time. She probably dropped it numerous times by now. So what is your idea? You get it up high enough, you actually get a better signal? The idea of putting it higher and getting a better signal really just is connected to the idea that you're having signal interference with the buildings and environment around you. But the environment around us is way taller than us, so the chances of any significant signal change going up that high, even just the highest you can throw it, assuming you could even do anything at that point, is minimal.
昨日の夜眠る前に思いついたんだけどね。メールを送信したまま空に投げればうまいこと圏内に入って助けが呼べるんじゃないかなと思ってさ。
At this point, I think it's probably just straight up broken.
今朝からずっと試してるんだけど。
Yeah,
よっと。
Yeah, it's probably a waste of energy, a waste of food, a waste of all of our resources involved. So maybe don't. But it's hard to tell someone to stop doing something that's giving them hope. Especially in this sort of situation. With a fluid overhand motion, Sakuma launched the cell phone to the sky once again.
それ、すごくいいアイデアじゃないですか。
Except also really dumb. Really, really dumb. What are the chances it even gets enough to send a text? In the first place, long enough for 1, enough signal to do it for 2, a combination of the 2 in order to actually get it away. I mean, it's probably pointless. It's like 99% definitely pointless.
だろ？私もそう思ったんだけど。おっと。
Skillfully catching the cell phone as it plunged back into the earth, she flipped on the screen and checked the status of the transmission.
また失敗か。もう50回ぐらい投げてるけど一度も成功しないよ。やっぱり風見の言う通りなのかもね。
Yep. I'm guessing she just explained why it would be silly.
和樹はなんて。ただでさえ電波が届きにくい環境の上にもし圏内に投げ込むことができたとしても送信する前に落下してしまえば意味がないってさ。だったら携帯が戻ってこないように崖の上まで投げちゃえばいいじゃないですか。
Well, one, you won't be able to get it back. You won't be able to confirm if it sends. You won't be able to...
私だってそう思ったさ。さっきから投げてるのは崖の上に乗せてしまおうと思って投げてるんだけど届かないんだよ。
Although I can tell the exact height of the cliff she was aiming for, a conservative estimate would have been 15 meters. And since the wall sloped over us, a fairly precise aim would be required to land on top of it.
後で何かうまい方法を考えると風見は言っていたけど、守備よく崖の上に乗せることができたとしても、そこが県内である保証はないってさ。
And we also couldn't confirm anything. I don't know. If we're just like basically, if we can do something clever without wasting too much resources, I don't think it's a bad idea to get it up there and hope it helps. Because I mean, we're doing something. I do think it's a good idea to keep people active in a way that they feel like they're progressing towards something, that maybe they have some hope. That's just a mental aspect. I wouldn't be against actually doing the clever idea to try to get up there. I think there's an advantage to it.
そうですか。
Also, I'm totally having a deja vu. Did this happen before? I feel like when we went off into the jungle before, at some point, we had a similar conversation where someone was trying something and Kazuki basically was like, "Nah, that's stupid." And Amane was like, "Oh, that's not a bad idea." Then the other person explained Kazuki's reasoning and she's like, "I suppose not." This seems really deja vu-y. I'm probably not remembering the details of the events before. It wasn't that long ago either. I'd hit on the idea of making a crude sling out of a towel or something to throw the phone over the cliff, but it was true enough. There's no evidence it'd be accomplishing anything, even if it worked. There wasn't any signal there. Either we'd end up throwing away a valuable potential means of communication for nothing. I would agree with you, but we also have like 10 phones, at least. Using one of them to accomplish that isn't that bad of an idea. And it's not like they're gonna run out of batteries like less quickly. Turn them off. That one gets shot up there too. This is actually in the era where phones had a relatively long period of battery, right? 2005, yeah. Phones often could hold like days worth of battery charge in them at that time, even without being turned off. And yet, Sakuma was keeping at her task relentlessly, probably mostly for the sake of having something to do. She seemed to know full well that it was essentially hopeless.
それで、その、和樹を見かけませんでしたか？ん？風見なら、さっき大きなシャベルを抱えて森に入っていったよ。30分ぐらい前かな。トイレにしては長いね。
Yeah, well, sometimes you just need some peace and quiet, yeah? What might she be doing with a shovel? Outside of pooping. Don't worry, girls don't poop.
ちょっと私、様子を見に行ってこようかと思います。気をつけた方がいいよ。さっき私も森に入ってみたんだけど、道なんてどこにもないし、周りは木ばっかりで目印がないからすぐに迷う。何か分かりやすい目印をつけながら行った方がいい。はい、わかりました。気をつけます。
It had already been half an hour since Kazuki entered the forest. Definitely way too long for a bathroom break. It's hard to imagine Kazuki, of all people, making such a careless blunder, but there was a possibility she lost her bearings and wandered in the wrong direction. I cautiously made my way into the forest, using the blade of a can opener to mark tree trunks with arrows as I went.
Kazuki!
I tried shouting her name, but there's no reply. I studied the ground at my feet. Although trampled, vegetation made it clear that some of us had been in this area recently. The trails were indistinct. Not that I could tell which belonged to Kazuki in the first place, since I presume more than one person has had to go boop, boop, boop in this time frame, so more than one person has gone out into the forest. When I glanced behind me, I found the route I'd been trampling through. The route I trampled through the high grass was still very clear by comparison. Surprisingly, however, it was a meandering zigzag, probably the result of constantly winding my way around trees. I thought I was walking perfectly straight, too. This is what makes the wilderness a truly terrifying place. I thought I had a pretty good sense of the dangers of wild mountains from books and comics, but now that I was actually experiencing one, I was quickly coming to realize how badly mistaken I'd been. And this really does make the compass, the lack of it, much more dangerous if it's this easy to lose our bearings on direction. I'd gone in believing that getting lost in the woods would generally work out for the best, so long as you reacted appropriately. That naive thought dissolved in mere minutes inside the jungle. An environment utterly barren of any trace of any other human beings. Your sense of isolation quickly builds into anxiety. It becomes easy to rush into action based on unbased opinions and such. It's got to be this way. It was probably over there. Shying away from acknowledging the worst-case scenario, running from your intuition alone, you become truly hopeless and hopelessly lost. In time, your anxiety reaches a new stage. Am I simply wasting my energy wandering around in circles? And even worse, fear. Because it's paralyzing. You're frozen where you stand, trapped with your own slowly escalating terror. And eventually, the fear of death creeps up on you, breaking your courage and robbing you of reason. In the end, just such an outcome is entirely likely.
Kazuki!
It hadn't been 10 minutes since I entered the forest, and I could already feel myself trembling. I began to sink into the first stage, powerful anxiety at my own isolation. I screamed Kazuki's name for the second time, a little louder than before. Head back. Finding her is great, but are you gonna bet on her actually being lost and still being out here? Maybe she already came back. Maybe smarter to return for now while I still know the way back, than launch an organized search with someone else. But just as these thoughts were running through my head, I heard the rustling sounds of someone stepping their way through the high grass a few paces behind me. My body went stiff with shock. I spun around to find the Kazuki had materialized out of nowhere, the usual vaguely sleepy expression on her face.
人の名前をあまり大きな声で叫ばないでもらえる？ファンに取り囲まれたら面倒じゃない。
Yes. Well, very quickly, based on like the first episode of any of these involving you going up, it does seem as though you have a decent following among the fandom, so... Yes, be very careful about that. Guys, in the comments, don't mob her. Not okay, not okay, she doesn't like it.
Kazuki!
そう、風見和樹よ。サインが欲しいのなら、マネージャーを通して事務所に色紙を送ってちょうだい。
123 Manager's Office Lane. I don't know any Russian zip codes? Let's go with Russian, yes.
何？色紙？
いや、だからここであなたはアイドル気取りかって突っ込んでくれないとボケゾンってやつじゃない。
そうか、ごめん。
いいわよ別に。それほど面白い冗談だとも思ってなかったし。
和樹、どこに行ってたの？
トイレよ。一人でゆっくり用を足すこともできないなんて、まさにアイドルのようだと思ったから口にした冗談だったのだけれど。
Weird that you took a half an hour on that. Why would you take a half an hour on that?
トイレにしては遅いじゃない。30分も頑張ってたの？
ついでだから食べられそうな草を摘んでいたのよ。ほら。
Kazuki held out some small, unfamiliar vegetables. They seemed to be immature shoots of some leafy plant.
山菜でも生えていればと思って探してみたけれど、こんなものしか見つからなかったわ。
何それ？食べられるの？
草ソテツのわかめよ。一応生でも食べられるけど、おひたしとかにした方がいいわね。
へえ、こんなの初めて見た。あんまり美味しそうじゃないけど。
ろくな食べ物がないから、それらを餌にする野生動物も当然いない。鳥の声はするけど、その姿は見えない。熊に襲われる心配がないのはありがたいけれど、改めてひどい環境だと思い知ったわ。とりあえず朝食はこれで済ませましょう。調理法は任せるけど、調味料の類はできるだけ節約して。
食材ならまだじゃがいもも人参も残ってるけど、
日持ちのするものはできるだけ残しておきたいの。3日でここを脱出できるとは限らないのだし。
I mean, that's what I was thinking, but I was sort of thinking the opposite. Are the leaves gonna have a low shelf life? What What are actually the shelf life of like plants that you pick in the forest? I guess they might not be very long since they were actively living in the forest at a point. Well, stuff like potatoes and carrots are things that you are actively chosen as foods because they're not actively living when you take them.
そっか、そうだよね。
そんなにがっかりしないで。確かに絶望的ではあるけれど、助からないと決まったわけではないから。
私たち助かるの？
どうかしら。別にはぐらかすわけではないけれど、さすがの私にもまだ。
私たちが助かる方法ってあるの？
Technically, yes, we do know that for sure. Just, not for everyone.
あるわよ。
どんな方法？
Oh boy.
何？あるんでしょ？方法が。
あるにはあるけれど、まだ無理。
無理ってどういう意味？
今の私たちでは実現不可能という意味よ。
What are you talking about?
ごめん、私バカだから意味がわからない。今は無理ってどういうこと？時間が経てば可能になるってこと？
Possibly. It just means a scenario change. Time passing isn't necessarily the prerequisite to creating any sort of change necessary for it. But if it is time, then that would imply that the state of the group needs to change significantly. A lower amount of people, maybe? It's something actually manageable to get through the forest with. I still disagree with the idea of just like sticking around here for a long period of time and then heading out trying to get somewhere safe. I think that's generally a bad idea. You either commit... You really gotta commit to an idea and stick to it. You gotta make most of your time and energy that you have available when you're in a survival situation.
そういうこと。それに救助が来る可能性もまだ残っているし、今はただじっと耐えるしかないわ。
ねえ、どんな方法なの？ヒントだけでも教えてよ。
人間が死なないために必要なものってなんだ？
Sanity. Wait, is that not what you were getting at?
水？
あ、思い出した。さっき草を摘んでいるとき、湧き水が湧いている場所を見つけたの。
That is excellent. Yeah, we should have people come out and start getting a do we have any sort of containers to hold extra water? We did have a bunch of garbage bags. I'm not sure how watertight garbage bags are.
というわけで、飲み水の心配は不要よ。
Okay.
なんだ、お水か。
Water, food, shelter technically. Though shelter can be a bit on the less reliable side to make it work. I'd also say hope in a way. A reason to believe that the next day will come.
そうがっかりしたものでもないわよ。水があれば1週間は生きられるもの。部長にはあなたが発見したって報告してくれる？
それは構わないけど。
じゃあ戻りましょうか。
待って、私まだヒントの答え聞いてないよ。人間が生きていくのに必要なものって何？
食べ物よ。
Yeah. Definitely limited, and even you said that it was limited.
食べ物？それが助かるためのヒント？
So we could survive maybe a week without like almost any food. I don't think a whole lot of us probably have enough extra, let's call them reserves, fat, to really make best use of a lack of food. But that is basically just if we stay still. Like, we will need food and energy and stuff in order to make like everything work once we if we decide to head out. I will stand by that as much as possible. The longer you wait and don't commit to if you commit to a different path after committing to one, then the worse chances you have, I believe. I guess we'll see.
そういうこと。だからできるだけ接触しておく必要があるの。
それで みんなが助かるの？
The fact that she said the path isn't open yet means that the situation needs to change considerably. Which means the current situation staying is the status quo, which is what you're suggesting now, probably isn't it, according to her opinion.
全員が助かるとは一言も言ってないでしょ。もう戻りましょう。あまり遅くなるとみんなが心配するわ。
カズキ！
大丈夫よ。帰り道は完璧に覚えているから。私についてきなさい。
待ってよ、カズキ！
わお、すごい剣幕ね。何をそんなに怒っているの？
わおじゃないわよ。全員は助からないってどういう意味？
It probably means exactly what it says.
そういう可能性もあるという意味よ。早い段階で救助が来ればもちろん全員助かるわ。
じゃあもし救助が来なかったら？
それはその時に考えればいいことよ。編成された救助隊の捜索が打ち切られるのは早くて5日。1週間経っても救助が来なければその時に考えましょう。みんなで。そんなに心配しなくてもあなたはかなりの確率で生き残るはずよ。
どんな根拠で？
そんなの決まっているでしょ。私のパートナーに選ばれたからよ。
本気で言ってるの？それ。
もちろん本気です。さて、質問は以上かしら？
To be fair, yeah, having someone as resourceful as her by your side and with the ability to think forward that significantly, yeah, I definitely do believe that that gives you a better chance. That if anyone's going to survive, that they're probably on the higher probability list.
よろしい。では戻りましょう。
もう勝手にずんずん行かないで。
面倒な子ね。不安だから手をつないでほしいのならはっきりとそう言いなさいの。
I mean, I wouldn't say no.
別にそういうわけじゃ。
I know it's too lewd for you, Amane. It's okay.
あらそう。じゃあいいのね。手をつながなくて。
So what we've learned today is that Kazuki, with her hand-holding, is really what turned Amane into a very sexual slut, right? That's what it is, definitely, yeah?
つなぐ。
She, corrupted her. The hand-holding.
はい。お声が遠いのですが。
つなぎます。手をつながせてください、カズキ様。
Oh no, the corruption.
あら、いい子ね。いらっしゃい。あまねちゃん。
もうこれからは勝手に一人で行動しないで。私心配したんだよ。
あなたが私を？
そりゃさ、私ごときがおこがましいとは思うけど。
いえ、そういう意味ではなくて、むしろ私を心配してくれる人がいることに驚いたというか。
You do have a family, Kazuki. I don't really remember Yuuji thinking it. Didn't Yuuji think very well of you at this point? I thought so.
でもそうね。ごめんなさい。そんな顔しないで。まるで母親に置いていかれた子供みたいな顔じゃない。大丈夫。あなたを置いてどこにも行きはしないから。
I mean, even with the lack of attention and sort of abuse that Yuuji got because of you, from my impression, he still blamed it more on himself and his parents than you.
約束？
ええ、約束するわ。さ、戻りましょう。
I suppose maybe he also thought highly enough of you that maybe he'd never feel concern. I don't know. Since I was physically sturdy, I was usually the one being relied on by others. When at that moment, I realized I'd grow totally dependent on that diminutive girl. That's me, Kazuki. I wasn't used to leaning on others like a crutch. Clinging onto someone usually made me feel more awkward than anything else. But that day, the distinct warmth of Kazuki's small hand was very reassuring.
冷たい手をしているのね、アマネ。
ごめん。
いいのよ。 私の母親もこんな感じの手だから。
私のことお母さんって呼んでもいいのよ。
Oh my goodness, I really think this might have been her sexual awakening.
あら、言うようになったわね。
I'm surprised she hasn't said that to I'm surprised she hasn't said that to Yuuji at any point during their, fun times. Kazuki guided... Well, she actually might have, as far as I know. I skip a lot of that. And I really just skim it for, like, the story-important stuff. Kazuki guided me by the hand back out of the forest. When we returned to the camp, we found everyone gathered in front of the tents, discussing plans for the future and proposing escape strategies. Of course, we were students from a school for rich young ladies, with only the superficial appearance of maturity. Producing a perfect smile for a polite good day was the extent of practical, non-academic knowledge we'd gained there. As such experience wasn't exactly of much use here, the majority of the ideas were unrealistic, founded on the assumption that the world would arrange itself for our convenience. Really interesting. If anything, it would be called good fortune that a few halfway decent sounding thoughts were mixed in. For example, Sakuma's throwing a cell phone into the sky idea. However, the majority of these more worthwhile plans had already been tried out by the person who brought them up, all with little success. In this life and death situation, everyone tossed out any idea that popped into their head, grasping at straws in desperate search for hope. I don't really think it's that bad of an idea to bring him up here. It's very easy to overlook small details, in my opinion. Little things you might not think of, little issues to your idea that you might be able to adjust to make it better and work more efficiently, essentially. But when someone proposed we capture a bird and wrap a letter around its leg, asking for help, Captain Sakashida finally lost her temper at the sheer absurdity. Could we throw some... See, the problem isn't getting them to send help, it's getting them to know where we are. Do we even have an accurate enough description of our location in order to give them a way to find us? Assuming we can get the information to them in time, assuming the information even gets to them. So trying to get, like, even that text message idea, it's like, oh, help us. It's like, I could imagine one of them being just like, I'm going to send a text message to get them to send help to us. It's like, oh my goodness, it works. We confirmed it worked. It's like, what message did you send? As it's stuck on the cliff. I sent, please come help us. We're stuck. And then everyone's just like, oh, God. No, that's not going to help. At best, it would get a search team out there quicker.
あなたたち、少しは真面目に考えたらどうなの?
Like half seriously.
そんな、私たちだって必死に考えて。必死に考えてその程度なの。小学生だってもう少しまともな意見を口にするわよ。それとも何？この次はどうやって鳥を捕まえるかという議題で話し合うつもり?
Oh, it's not. Every idea is worth looking into. I generally use this as a general rule of thumb in life, but every opinion has a kernel of truth to it. Like, even those, like, ridiculous high fantasy ideas in a way, let's call it high fantasy, it sort of sounds like that in a way, of it working, you can analyze it and sit down and understand where the idea comes from, where the good aspects of it still lie, and try to combine, maybe, through the ideas, as many good aspects as you can identify together and try to make something that can actually remove or outdo some of those bad aspects. So, okay, let's say this bird messenger idea. The good part of it is obviously getting some sort of information out of here, yeah? Another bad part is definitely the difficulty in capturing a bird. So, getting some sort of information out of here would provide us an opportunity to work from where we are without having to do anything drastic. I also think there's an advantage of putting a little bit of hope, doing some sort of plan that could give us a, okay, maybe if we stay here, they'll find us sort of thing, yeah? Because you're always betting on if you stay or leave, which one has the better chance, but if you switch halfway through, then you lose the ability to do one or the other completely. I mean, I think it lowers your odds. I do think there's an advantage to giving some people the hope to be like, okay, we sent that thing, maybe it'll come quicker because of that. No, we should stick around here a little bit more at a point. So just commit to it, because it's so easy to lose hope in what you're currently doing. If you add a little bit of hope, I think there's an advantage there. So the idea of getting information out. So there's the idea of using it with the cell phones. Does the bus have any communication equipment? Is it just cell phones? Anything we might be able to do anything with?
何もそんな言い方しなくたってねえ。確かに一番必死なのは坂下かもね。私たちよりまともな意見があるなら言えばいいのに。
The stage whispers of her critics naturally reach Captain Takashida's ears, as they were intended to.
あなたたち、言いたいことがあるならはっきりと言いなさいな。そんな陰口のように恥ずかしくはないの？
Captain Takashida's irritated, impatient tone was no different from her usual scoldings during practice. But at that moment, we weren't in that usual situation tucked away in our safe gymnasium. It was a life or death emergency, and everyone was frantic. At such time, people instinctively seek out someone to rely on. The more desperate the situation, the more we throw aside rank and title and turn to raw competence. I felt like many cases were beginning to concentrate in Kazuki's general direction. I don't think it was just my imagination, either. Captain Takashida seemed to have noticed as well, swallowed what looked like an overwhelming surge of irritation. She abruptly grabbed a nearby fist-sized outcropping of rock and squeezed so hard her fingers turned white. This isn't good. We weren't going to achieve anything by continuing to attack this attack on Captain Sakashida. I think we all know that. Even so, I understood the temptation to create a scapegoat, the irrational feeling that pushing all the bitterness and blame onto another would wipe away our own shortcomings, as if doing so would save us somehow. For most of the team members, the captain had become a scapegoat, and for the captain, it must have been Kazuki who filled that role. As the main authority figure, our advisor, Mr. Ochi, probably should have interceded by now, but he seemed intent on staying out of the conversation under the pretext of attending to the wounded. He never made a habit of intervening in the team's quarrels, a policy typical of teachers at an all-female school, who know full well what a nuisance it is to get caught in the crossfire of a schoolgirl squabble. His normal approach was to smooth things over with the individuals involved after the fight died down. He was probably assuming that would be enough this time as well. What should we do now? Not that I really have any grounds to criticize his passivity. In the end, I glanced pleadingly at Kazuki out of the corner of my eye, when she would rescue us from this ugly situation. Apparently reading my mind, from that small movement, Kazuki let out a short, resigned sigh, and slowly opened her mouth to speak.
もうその辺にしておきなさい。バカを相手に喧嘩をする人が一番バカよ。
You think that's gonna help? I'm not sure that's gonna help.
その言葉、私に言ったの？それとも彼女たちに？
Then again, they are angry anyway, so... Maybe she just wants people to be angry at her instead. Singular scapegoat makes everyone else work together. Enemies of my enemy, you know?
みんなに言ったのよ。あなたにはどう聞こえた？
そういうあなたはさっきからずっと黙っているようだけど、何かいいアイデアはないのかしら？
おとなしく救助を待つという提案が一番最初に決まったはずですが。
何もしないでただ救助を待つというの？いつ来るかもわからない救助を。
While that inevitably is what it's going to boil down to, I do believe that there is an advantage in having something to work towards, keep people active, maybe not focus on the hopelessness of a situation, and let them focus on what hope they can grab.
いつ来るかわからないから無駄に体力を消耗したくないのです。幸いなことにスオさんのおかげで水源は確保できたことですし、接触すればしばらくは持ちこたえられますが、それとも
Kazuki covered her mouth with her hand and narrowed her eyes in apparent amusement.
それとも 以前私が申し上げたように一か八かの賭けに出てあの密林に足を踏み入れて脱出を試みますか？
I mean, being realistic here, they're both all or nothing bets. Sure, you can back out of sticking around here more easily than coming back to it, but... As she spoke, Kazuki jerked her head in the direction of the overgrown humid jungle, sealing our only exit from the valley. Even from a distance, the tangled mass of plants exuded the indifferent menace of nature.
それは
The captain had empathetically shot down the suggestion only yesterday. Overturning the decision now was probably impossible. Cold sweat forming at my temples, I watched nervously as the captain's face changed color to an extremely disturbing shade of red. But in the next moment, Kazuki shot me a quick, suggestive glance. I get it. I abruptly jerked my hand into the air, as if requesting a teacher's attention in the classroom.
よろしいでしょうか？
何かしら、スオさん。
やっぱり部長がおっしゃったようにうかつに森に入るのは危険だと思います。
それはもう誰もが理解していることよ。
ですからとりあえず1週間この場で思いつく限りのアイデアを試しながら救助を待つというのはどうでしょう？
With minimal energy exertion. I am very in agreement with Kazuki on that one.
どうして1週間なの？
この手の遭難事故の場合、だいたい2週間で捜索が打ち切られるそうです。ですから1週間待ってみて救助が来ない場合は、その時にまたこちらから行動を起こすアイデアを話し合いましょう。
それを今話し合っているのでしょ？あなた何を言っているの？
それは
Honestly, I do think as though if our plan is going to be only go after week, it's probably good to tail the idea for now and not let people's mind wander to a different sort of plan that'll make us less committed.
どうして1週間後にも今日と同じ体力が残っていると思えるのかしら。不思議。
何ですって？
I turned my head slightly to the side and shot Kazuki a brief glare. Not that she even noticed, judging from her unruffled, perfectly indifferent expression.
いやでもまあつまりはそういうことです。とにかく1週間思いつく限りの手段で SOS を発信しながら救助を待って、それでも救助が来なかったらその時の体力や食料事情に応じた対策を話し合いましょう。
まあいいわ。確かに今はそれぐらいしかできることもなさそうだし。それでよろしいですね、先生。
ああ、とりあえずはそれでいいだろう。
では最後に私からの忠告です。各自アイデアを出して実行するのは構いませんが、決して無茶のない範囲で行動するように。崖に足場を掘りながらよじ登るとか、そういった危険が伴うアイデアはくれぐれも実行しないように。以上。
With those clipped words of warning, the discussion finally ended. Taking with the tension that had hung thick in the air for so long. The rest of the group quickly broke up into their assigned pairs, whispering fervently to each other as I walked away from the meeting place. Of course, I was no exception as Kazuki promptly stood up from her seat and made to leave. I chased after her and immediately offered a few words to complain.
ちょっと、さっきのはひどくない？
あら、何のこと？
I mean, I sort of get what she's trying to do. She's also trying to remove the viability of trying to head off into the forest after a week. Yeah. Bringing up the possibility. You brought up the idea to her earlier. She brought it up to the group, and then you basically cut it down in a way that people will remember. So.
また私に重要な発言を丸投げしたでしょ。私、和樹の腹話術人形じゃないんだからね。
変ね。私、あなたに何か言えと命令した覚えは全くないのだけれど。
言わなくてもわかるわよ。それに目で合図したじゃない。
ええ、確かに合図は送ったけれど、まさかああも敏感に感じ取ってもらえるとは思ってもいなかったから、私もう嬉しくて。今日は一日ニコニコしていると思うけど、気持ち悪いとか思われないか心配だわ。
なんか いろんな意味で気持ち悪いのは確かね。
あまね、私はあなたがとても気に入ったわ。もし私が男なら間違いなくあなたにプロポーズしているわよ。
Ah, my goodness.
やめてよ、私そっちの趣味ないし。
大丈夫。私にも今のところそっちの趣味はないから。
Who knows what'll happen in the future? Yeah.
今のところって。
Is she implying there's a chance she'll swing that way in the future?
まあ絶対にないとは言えないわね。
Yeah, people usually aren't that set in stone on exactly what they believe their sexual desires are.
だから私の心を先読みして会話をしないでよ。
何にせよあなたのおかげで話がうまくまとまったのだから1000の感謝を送りたいわ。
はあ、さいですか。そりゃよござんしたね。
それでもやはり残る懸念はあの部長ね。やっぱり私あの子が嫌いだわ。
はっきり言うな。確かにちょっと上から目線が鼻につくけど、基本的に悪い先輩ではないと思うけど。
Oh, yeah, she means well for herself. People don't usually mean to actually cause harm to others. Typically, they just do things for themselves without thinking about others. While her tone tended to be harsh, her directions during practices were appropriate and reasonable, and she cared more about the members of the team than you might assume. Currently, she was in far more taxing situation than captaining a school team could have possibly prepared her for. Taking that into consideration, you could say she was coping fairly calmly.
確かにそうかもしれない。でも仮にも部という一つの組織をまとめる長なのだから、せめてブレインストーミングぐらいは理解していてほしいのだけれど。
ブレ何？
ブレインストーミングよ。
Oh, I know. I know.
何それ？
ググりなさい。
That's not helpful.
は？
説明が面倒な時の合言葉よ。でもまあそうね。通信手段が途絶している今この場では酷な言葉ね。まあ簡単に説明してしまうと4つの原則があるの。
Is it really, though? There's definitely more efficient ways to brainstorm, I know that, but brainstorming is just a concept, it's not actually a process.
は
1、決めつけない。2、否定せずに何でも受け入れる。3、とにかく数を出す。4、結合する。以上の4つよ。
You are definitely right. That is definitely the most efficient way to do it.
つまりどんなにくだらない意見でも否定せずにとりあえず聞いてみて、一見して無駄のように思える意見でも他の意見と組み合わせることで有効な意見にできないかを考える。それがブレインストーミングよ。
This is basically what I was saying before.
あ、おお、なんか天才っぽい。
No, it's a very basic efficiency process. It's... Yeah.
茶化さないの。結構真面目な話をしているのだから。
うん、ごめん。それで？
さっきの話し合いで彼女は他人の意見に否定をぶつけるだけで何一つ建設的な意見は口にしなかったでしょ。そう、例えば火を起こしてのろしを上げるとか、いっそ森に火をつけるとか、そんな意見に彼女は何て答えたかしら。
Torching the forest. I'm sorry, but that actually seems like a much better idea than it sounds like on first. Like if we're really desperate.
それは確かもう試してみて効果がなかったんじゃなかったっけ？
Oh, they tested it? Let me guess, the forest isn't actually very good for burning. Like the fire doesn't spread even if the local thing that you burn burns.
のろしの煙は重なった木々の枝で分散されちゃうし、山火事の場合は冬場ならともかく今の季節は森自体の湿度が高くてジメジメしてるから無理だって。
It's an interesting idea, though. I wonder, could you, like she was saying about combine those to remove the overlapping trees and then create a signal fire. Even if it's moist and such, we should be able to get rid of like some local near trees and such, yeah? Unless they're up in higher ground. The geography of this area is really confusing.
そう。他にはどんな意見があったかしら？
次はメール送信状態の携帯電話を崖の上に投げ込む？
それも佐久間先輩が何度も試して失敗しているわね。他は？
テントのシートを材料にしてタコを作ってあげるとか、鳥を捕まえて足に手紙を結びつけるとか。
Not enough winds. Capturing a bird is very random and not really that. Well, where the bird would take it would be random, and capturing a bird isn't great. I'm guessing what Kazuki's going to focus on is the fact that all the criticism to it was why it won't work, not how could we make it work.
あら、何か思いついた？
ねえ、タコに携帯電話を結びつけて空に上げるってどうかな？
Wouldn't the problem with the kite be the lack of, airflow? Maybe there's more airflow in here than I give credit for?
そうね。試してみる価値はあると思うわ。
さっきの話し合いではそんなこと思いつかなかったのに。
あれもダメ、これもダメと否定するだけの話し合いに意味なんてないわ。くだらない意見もすべて受け入れた上で、その中から複数のアイデアを組み合わせて新しい意見を考える。そういう発想があれば、あの話し合いも無駄ではなかったはずなんだけどね。
どうしてあの場でそれを言わなかったの？
Because someone probably doesn't like to be upstaged in that way.
だって、また余計なことを言って怒られたら嫌じゃない。それに、物の考え方の価値って、人に教わるより自分で気がついた方がずっと高級だと思わない？
Do we really have time for that?
例えばタコに携帯電話を結びつけて飛ばすアイデアとか？
I still think the signal fire thing might be better. If we can remove some of the overlapping stuff and we can get it to the smoke and go high enough. I guess the question would be, how much fuel do you need to actually create a signal fire? Do you need a certain sort of fuel? Like, creating smoke significantly from a fire is probably going to take quite a bit. Also to make it... Because the thing about the fire that I like is that it's... You can make it reliable. You can have people working to get fuel for it and keep it going through however long it needs to take. And eventually someone will come by on the road, see the smoke and come, stop and be like, what the hell is that? That actually could be fairly effective. The question obviously would be if we could really get the trees to come down. The kite thing, the problem I see with that that's coming to mind is how reliable is it? I still question if the air can even get it, a kite up there in the first place. I suppose it's more about getting a message off than it is about anything else, but... How long does the cell phone try to send a message? A while, but...
そう。そのひらめきが脳を活性化させるの。
やっぱりあなたは最初から答えが分かっていて、私に思いつかせるように会話で誘導したのね。
Well, like she said, it's better to teach someone how to do things than just telling them and lecturing them how to do it.
そういうものの捉え方は心外だわ。それともあなたは学校で数式を習っても同じように教師に噛みつくの？
今の私たちと学校での私たちじゃ置かれている状況が違うわ。
Doesn't matter. Learning is learning.
何でも教えてくれる人が身近にいると自分では考えることをしなくなる。そういう観点で見れば同じことよ。
私、あなたのそういう回りくどいところが少し苦手。
気をつけるわ。
I felt like I was beginning to understand why my conversations with Kazuki sometimes felt slightly off. The discussions I had with this girl reminded me strongly of a classroom dialogue between a teacher and a student, meaning that you mean she was trying to guide you to an answer rather than have you just tell you what it is. She never revealed the answers immediately, instead dropping vague, indirect hints. She clearly regarded those with no desire to learn as unworthy of her wisdom. I think that it's maybe a little bit of that, but I think it's probably more that it's easier to get someone to agree with you if you naturally come to that conclusion yourself. Get someone to logically think it through and come to the conclusion, and the ability for them to be like, oh yeah, I agree with you, is gonna go up drastically, instead of just telling them that something is a certain way. In other words, very much like a veteran professor, an aging department head with a knowing smile. If Kazuki deigned to consider the matter seriously, might she be able to find a way out of this whole mess in the blink of an eye? The more I thought about it, the more these little lessons to Kazuki seemed like an indirect way of rubbing my nose in my inferiority. Ooh. The implied message was, you're incompetent. Frankly, it kind of pissed me off. Well, I guess not every method is free from that sort of potential after effect. And since I really wasn't competent, I couldn't come up with any biting comebacks, which pissed me off even worse. I had an itching desire to show her up somehow, but what could I possibly hope to defeat her at? Right. If nothing else, I'm probably a better cook. Yeah, there's a pretty good chance I could teach her a lesson or two in that arena. I latched onto that trifling point of superiority, imagining Kazuki fumbling around helplessly in the kitchen under my wry supervision. Geez, you're all thumbs, Kazuki. And all that. Before I knew it, there's a smile on my face all of a sudden. This aggravating young woman looked like a cute little girl. I was slightly exasperated at my own simple-mindedness. I quickly put the culinary skills in question to use, whipping up our meager breakfast. As Kazuki and I were choking it down, I ended up telling her about that little daydream.
その単純さこそが人が自殺をしないためのシステムよ。
What? Whoa, 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 whoa. She responded with those pretty much incomprehensible sentences. That and a gentle smile. I think you might be reading a little too much into the idea of simple-mindedness, Kazuki. A little too much. Psychological defense mechanism. The idea of always trying to feel like you have to be superior in some way than someone else. Yeah, I get that. Helps keep us from committing suicide. No, I think that's way too far. Is that part of your defense mechanism, Kazuki? To tell people that the only reason that they're doing that sort of thing is to stop them from that? What the heck is with this girl, anyways? Whatever. I finished my breakfast. I hadn't exactly filled my stomach and inspired a burst of energy for the day to come, but I nonetheless decided to take a little positive action by proposing the kite cell phone idea to the captain.
あなたもなの？
どういう意味です？
そのアイデアを私のところに持ち込んだのはあなたが初めてではないという意味よ。10分ぐらい前に金田小森のペアが来て。
そうなんですか。
Yeah, I guess anybody could come up with that one.
同じ実験を2つすることに意味はないし、他のアイデアを思いついたらまた来なさい。
わかりました。
I've been feeling a little proud of myself for coming up with a pretty decent idea. For some reason, it felt as though that achievement had been pulled out from under me. I mean, I didn't think of it until you brought it up. Don't worry. I was too focused on something else. Good old Mane, you're smarter than Echo. Probably, maybe. I trudged back to the tents, my shoulders drooping, and told Kazuki about the outcome. There's another pair that had already hit the exact same idea. Of course, Kaneda and Komori had participated in the same discussion and had the same information to work from. It wasn't strange. It wasn't that strange a coincidence. Indeed, Kazuki showed no surprise whatsoever. Quite the opposite, she nodded her head with the words, I figured as much. From what she told me, something called reminiscence was likely at work here.
レミニセンスというのはつまり情報を得た直後より一定の時間が経過してからの方が記憶の関連付けが進行する分早期や連結発想がしやすくなるという現象ね。
You know, like after the moment when you like do a really lame comeback against someone in a conversation, and then like 5 minutes later, you're like, oh no, I should have said that. It would have been so much better.
また難しい話をしようとしている？
そうね。専門的な話をすると長くなるし、やめておきましょう。
ぜひそうしてください。
I mean, it probably basically, I don't know psychological, technical stuff that well, but I imagine it basically boils down to clearing your mind of what you're currently focusing on, and then reevaluating with a fresh set of perspectives.
それで、何か他のアイデアは思いついた？
タコをあげて発見してもらうというのは、他者の視覚に訴えかける通信、つまり光媒体の通信だよね。
And that brings up the issue that I was saying before more so. You could do a brightly colored kite with the cell phone too. You can combine them.
ええ、そうね。
携帯電話を使うのはそのまま電波通信でしょ？
ああ、つまりそういうこと？
Well, a cell phone actually is directed at someone. The colored one just hopes to get noticed. I still have a problem with the idea of anything that's supposed to be trying to get the attention of the people driving past not being something that we could sustain for a long period of time.
もしかして私が今から言おうとしたこともう分かっちゃった？
The thing about kites is that even if you do have the air for it, the wind for it, the chances of getting it all the way up there. Yeah.
音による通信の可能性？
なんだ、やっぱりバレてた。
Why would that be helpful? We're near a road. People are in their cars. The chances of being able to, like, people visually pay attention to the road and the things around it. You don't really typically pay attention to the sound waves of the things outside your car that significantly, unless it's really loud.
いいえ、私も今あなたの話で気がついたのよ。つまりバスのクラクションを鳴らすとか、そういった聴覚に訴えかける大音量装置による通信でしょ？
I don't think that's a very good idea, but, you know. Just sit in the bus honking the horn, not that bad of an idea.
そんな感じ。
まさかとは思うけど、みんなで大きな声で叫ぶとか考えていたわけではないわよね。
Now that would be a waste of energy.
それは、
Hey, I didn't think of that. Good job, Amana. You thought of something I didn't.
考えていたんだ。
はいはい、考えてましたよ。どうせ私は
発想の着眼点は悪くないわよ。誰かに先を越される前に部長に報告してみたら？
一応報告はするけど、きっと私でなくても誰かが思いつくアイデアよね。
言ったでしょ？そういった小さな発想の積み重ねが新しいアイデアにつながるのよ。
まあそれはわかるんだけどね。一つ思いついたらすぐに報告ってのもなんか頭悪いかなって。
だったらもう一つアイデアを用意したら？例えばそうね、あまり現実味はないけれど発想の一つとしてデジタル通信の可能性とかはどうかしら？
I mean, that's basically the cell phone stuff. Digital communication. Are you legitimately talking something more along the lines of non-wireless? Because I don't think we have any access to that. If that's supposed to be different than the cell phone stuff.
デジタル通信？
例えばそう、森に行ってこう長い木の枝を何本も集めて、それを縦に連結していけば理論上は何百メートルだろうと長い棒が作れるでしょ？
That's not a great idea. How do you make that stable? What would you tie them with? What do we have to tie them with?
その長い棒の一端を私たちが掴んで、右に回転させれば0、左に回転させれば1とすれば、二進法のデジタル信号が送れるでしょ？
I mean, I get what you're getting at for the digital part of it.
なんかカズキにしては割とバカっぽいアイデアだよね、それ。
Yeah, that's how brainstorming works. But it isn't a bad idea to focus on the idea of using the actual physical stuff around us rather than maybe something like using a tree instead. Could we actually take down a tree even if we just like sort of burned it? Make sure everyone is safe, obviously. probably move stuff out of the way just in case. But, you wouldn't be able to lift a tree or anything like that, but, you know, get someone's attention. The idea of using binary in some way, I don't think that's the best idea of communication either, but people aren't normally going to get that. But if you do make the situation where people believe that you're creating communication, where you're trying to be intentionally communicating something, then they're more likely to pay attention. Because like a brightly colored kite might be something that's just like, oh yeah, there's a kite. But if you're like intentionally creating patterns and such to make it seem like you're trying to communicate something, then people are more likely to pay attention. Which is a fair idea.
そうかしら。質量はともかく重量の制限を受けない宇宙空間でならタイムラグのない超長距離高速通信に応用できそうなネタだと思うけど。
ダメっていうか、宇宙ってなんだろうな。やっぱなんとかと天才って紙一重なんだね。今思い知った感じ。
だから発想の元というか、あくまでも着眼点の一つとして報告してみてはどうかしらというプロポーズなのだけど。
まあそうね。そういう考え方もあるって感じで報告してみるけど、バカだと思われたら嫌だな。
Do you introduce that idea first or second? Because if it sounds real stupid, she seems like the type that'll like throw away any other ideas she listens to after the fact, or any ideas that she might have heard before that. Not sure what the best way in the order to introduce it would be.
あなた、それは私に対して何気に失礼よ。
Oh, says you. After that, I offered the captain my second idea and received a fairly positive evaluation of worth looking into. I did give a half-hearted mention of the possibility of digital communication as well, but as anticipated, the captain's reaction was unenthusiastic. The concept clearly didn't click with her either, and I was left with a vague permission for experiments within the range of common sense. Well, the proposed experiment just involved gathering long sticks and trying to bind them together, so at least failure wouldn't be a complete waste of effort. We'd have secured ourselves supply of firewood if nothing else. That said, the first priority was looking into a more realistic possibility of communication through sound. In other words, examining the bus and seeing if the horn's still functional. Okay. Well, I'm not really sure if there's going to be another good ending point, but this seems like it's probably going to be the best cutting off point for now. So, I do find this very interesting going through different ideas of how to communicate out. So, yeah, pretty cool. So, I will see you all next time. Drive safely, everyone.